Good morning, everyone. Hello, this is Coach Ricardo Miller. I'm excited about this morning's conversation. This is going to be one for the record books, ladies and gentlemen. She is no stranger to leadership. She is no stranger to team building, and she's no stranger to this platform. She's been here before, and she's back with us this morning. She is none other than my good friend, leader, and coach, Miss Katherine Beneby. Unmute yourself, Miss Lady. It is so good to have you joining me once again here on Effective Living.
Listen, I probably did something right to get a second invitation. Engage me once, I thank God. Engage me twice, it's a praise dance.
Go on now.
So thank you so much, Coach Ricardo, for this invitation. Excited to dive into our topic today. Yeah. And listen, anytime I'm in your company, it's a good time.
Oh, man, you're so kind. You are so kind. I really appreciate you. You've been so committed to what you've been doing over the years in adding values to the lives of individuals, organizations, companies, and school. And to be able to have your schedule to accommodate the live this morning. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, Katherine Beneby is joining us this morning. Do me a favor. If you're watching us on Facebook, share. If you're watching us on YouTube, subscribe to this channel and go ahead and put on that notification button so you can keep up to date with all of the exciting conversations we have going on here. Also, in addition, if you can click that like button, if you enjoyed this conversation, I would appreciate it. Now, Miss Beneby, let's dive into this morning's talk. Before we do that, though, tell our viewing audience a little bit about you, because there are people who will be watching this all around the world. And the thing that I've discovered about these live, especially for the ones that are on YouTube, people come back and they watch it over and over and over. And so we're excited about what's going to take place today with this information. So tell our viewing audience about yourself.
Yes, so I am a speaker, trainer, and coach certified with the John Maxwell team for over 5 years now. And so really love the organization and all the value that we bring to the communities that we are a part of. I'm also a director of operations and marketing at one of our leading institutions in education here in the Bahamas. And so I love making an impact as it pertains to further education and lifelong learning and anything involving youth, leadership, service, marketing, and communications. They are key themes that you would see me be a part of and involved with.
You said that you've locked into that. When did you know, man, this is going to be my lane? And you know what? I'm going to embrace my lane, because you clearly embrace your lane. When did you discover that?
Yeah, I would say probably 2 years after university. So I already knew the career that I was heading in. And then as I began to work and find myself, I knew, okay, it was actually probably one of John's books that I read that talked about looking at your key themes. And that helps you to know what you can and can't do. So when you're focused in your life, you're able to know how to manage your time and your resources and even your money. Right? Yeah. And so I learned early, focus in on your key areas and be as good as you can be in those areas. So I say 2 years post my university degree.
Wow. Mm-hmm. So with that said, today we're dealing with, I've been trying to dub an entire theme this week where it is generational principles. These are rules of engagements that they're not going to pass away. They're not fads, or they're not trends. These are principles. When it comes to building community, building a tribe, building a team, why do you think that is important?
Listen, we can't do anything in life on our own. And that's something I had to learn the hard way. I feel like I'm a brilliant person. I feel like I have good ideas. I feel like I'm an innovator. But what I had to learn is I only can go so far. Yeah. Whatever I think I can do as an individual is multiplied when you have different perspectives, different viewpoints, opinions. We're stronger when we call on each other's strengths. I have strengths in particular areas, other individuals have strengths in other areas. And when we all come together, the vision, the mission, the goal is intensified and more likely to be achieved than if it was one person. Why do we think so many people are burnt out? Because they're trying to do everyone's role. Whereas if everyone were to focus on what they're good at, and bring that to the table, it even helps us manage the time and our energy as well.
That is so good. You know, I've met people like you mentioned just now that feels though, you know, oh my goodness, I'm so burned out, and but you know, God's called me to greatness,
Yes.
and I've been called to do great exploits. But
Yes.
the reality of it is, what most people don't understand, Ms. Catherine, is that the greater the assignment, the more people called to assist you with the assignment. Someone said, you know, yeah, I see a national work. I see an island size program. You want a program. If you're in the Bahamas, you see something that's going to be within every school. Well, if you're thinking something in every school, you can't be thinking only you.
True.
If you're thinking every family island, you can't be only thinking you. If you're thinking the nations of the world, if you're thinking that, you know, R.W. Schambach, he was a general in the faith here in Texas. He was among the Oral Roberts. He's the Morris Sorrello. He was one of what we would call the generals in the faith. I believe one of the difference between his accomplishments over the years, and then there was like the Kenneth Copeland. Between the Kenneth Copeland, the Oral Roberts, the Morris Sorrello, when you think about R.W. Schambach, you don't hear his name anymore because R.W. Schambach was more an individual who was doing great things around the world. Whereas the Morris Sorrello, the Oral Roberts, the Kenneth Copeland, those guys built an entity supported by people that drove a movement.
Yes.
How important is it for one to capture the basic elements of team involvement? I mean, you started to talk about it, which is difference and the strength of variety and the dynamics of skill set. Talk to us a little bit about that.
So first of all, you have to identify a vision and mission. That's just basic of why we are here. Anytime I'm engaged in a project, I need to understand what is the end goal. So as a leader, you need to know what is the intent of whatever it is that I'm doing. And then the second level is then look at who do you need to be able to do what you need to do. And what are the qualities that you're looking for? And so for every kind of position or role, there will be specific needs that you will have. But I believe that there are some basics. It doesn't matter what you do that you need. So for me, I look for a positive attitude. So listen, every day you can't be in a defeated state. You know, build yourself up, be motivated, be inspired, read, watch positive videos. You know, every day the world can't be coming in on you, right? So you have to have a positive attitude. You have to be willing to learn. It doesn't matter what you're doing, but as a team member, you should want to grow. You should want to get better. You should want to glean from the different strengths around you. Another characteristic I look for is integrity, reliability, dependability. If you're on a team and you're responsible for something, you should see it through. And another thing I look for is the actual ability. So you have to be able to do some skill or have a capacity to bring something to the table. So it doesn't matter what kind of team you have. There's some fundamentals that is across the board that I feel a lot of leaders are seeking and desire among their teams. So the first thing is you need to have a vision and mission. And the second thing, then you source what are the needs in people, resources, etc.
Wow. Wow. You know, there are people, I heard you mention this in your talk just now. There are people who desire the post but don't have the qualification for the post. And, you know, years ago, I had a meeting where there was a guy who wanted to be on our team. And we had a conversation. And I said, man, you're a good guy. I mean, you're the best of the best when it comes to guy, but you're to guys, but you're not qualified for the role. And unfortunately, Katherine, sometimes we bring people together only to fill the seat, but wonder why the team is not winning or we're not advancing. It's not that you don't have a lot of people on the bus.
Yes.
You don't have the right people on the bus. How important is it to have the right people?
Listen, I would say have that one or two that is truly called, able to follow those basic characteristics I mentioned, than having 10 people. You understand? Because what happens is you have the 10 and you still only have the 2 who work it. Right? So let's not focus on quantity, but as you mentioned, the quality of individuals that we're seeking. And the only way we're able to do that, Coach Ricardo, is knowing what first of all, what the vision is, and
Yeah,
also
yeah.
what we need. So if
Yeah.
we haven't identified that, we will have all kinds of different people on the bus who shouldn't be there because we haven't taken the time to build our foundation properly. So it starts with us, the leader.
Yeah.
It
That is
always
so good.
starts with us.
Yeah. It starts with us. This whole element, it starts with us. We start off with vision.
Mhm.
The vision dictates everything, but unfortunately, this is true in our culture, and a lot of times, a lot of places around the world. In the Bahamas, the person you know got you in the seat, but now the truth is you're not qualified to get us to where we're trying to go in relation to the vision.
Mhm.
So we build an environment where we're putting people. I'm going back to that seat on the bus, putting people on the bus, but we're wondering why there's a level of frustration coming from the organization, lack of productivity and growth and movement is because in a lot of instances, we're giving anybody a position. We're not qualifying people for the position. Let's go there for the leader, for the individual who says, I have a lot of people around me, but I don't feel the strength of those people around me. Qualifying them to be on the bus in your personal life or even a part of your vision. Let's dissect that and talk about that because that's a difficult thing for a lot of people. We like what we like, but sometimes what we need is not necessarily what we like. Sometimes we need to get someone who could deliver, not necessarily be likable as much as deliver. And we can work with getting likable because the goal is deliver and not necessarily like, eh?
Yes, yes. Coaching is key. Hey, you have in your name Coach Ricardo Miller. Subscribe, send an email, message, whatever it takes. This is why we do what we do. Because, whether you, the leader, takes it on yourself as a coach or you engage somebody to come in, which we would always recommend because hearing it from you is different than hearing it from a professional coach in these areas. But really and truly, anytime we provide training or services, reinforcement is key. And so the leader has to buy into this development and really coach their people onto the destination where they need to go. Nobody is perfect. All of us have room for improvement and growth. And so we have to take each individual on our team and see how can we personally invest in them. That should be our mission as leaders. Even if we feel like we have a good team and people are being productive and getting the results, that still requires us as leaders to pour into them. It may look different, but we still must be intentional about the coaching. Whether you have strong team members or you have weak team members, coaching, I would say, is key in anything you're doing.
Coaching is key, ladies and gentlemen. You heard it right here from Katherine Beneby. She may not have put it in the front of her name, but she's a coach too, y'all.
Yes.
She's a certified coach with John Maxwell Organization. In addition, the woman has been doing what she's been doing for a while. And so there comes a time in your life, Katherine, where you start to realize there are some common traits of a healthy team. What are common myths? Just when it comes to building a team, connecting people together, what are some common myths? I know. Go ahead.
Listen, being a female, I've often heard individuals say, "Oh, females, they can't work together." But a lot of these teams, Coach Ricardo, are females working together. And even when it's mixed, more men, or it's an even balance, you will have challenges. So I feel like that is a myth. And there might be some truth at some level because they say emotions and all these things. But men have emotions and feelings and all of that as well. And so I would like to start hearing that. Say that women can't get along because on a lot of teams I'm on, it's more women than men, or it may be all women. And we get along. So that is a myth. And then another myth is that, I don't like teams or I don't like groups. I'm sure you've heard that one.
I've heard it,
But no, that is not the attitude we should have as it pertains to teams and groups. We should welcome teams. We should welcome groups. But I think individuals who say that think back in high school or primary school where they were on this group or team and the person didn't pull their weight and it has scarred them for the rest of their lives. But guess what, Coach Ricardo? You will always be on a group or team where somebody ain't pulling their weight. Like, I ain't even gonna sell you no dream. on this video conference this morning. There's always going to be one or two people who you thought may have performed better or gotten certain results that, you know, need a little bit more support. And that's okay, because all of us are at different levels and capabilities, and that's why we need leaders. This is why we're here. If people didn't need support and growth, then why would we be doing what we are doing? We are not leaders just to be leaders in name. We have to be leaders in action.
Yes.
So let's get to work.
I love it. We have to be leaders in action. Now, that's a challenge there because, as you mentioned, again, let's dive into that. When it comes to leaders judging their teams, with what a lot of leaders don't realize is a winning team is built by a dynamic leader.
Correct.
And, you know, a lot of times we want a team to be a winning team automatically. The need to have a leader who understands I'm responsible for bringing the skill set of this team to a place that brings them to that winning state. Talk to the leaders who are out there, who are, you know, my people are useless, worthless, frustrating me. My people, they're talking down to their people, but they don't realize if you're the leader who's been holding that seat for a while, your team reflects you, reflects a lot about you. Now, that doesn't mean you may not be dynamic in some way. It may just simply reflect that you're still not addressing certain things for whatever reason. That team is reflecting on you over time. One of the things, Katherine, over the years, what I've had to come to accept when I'm working with leaders, I told them I give you a 6 months window to get to connect. After that, a year later, whatever you see that department looks like, that organization look like, it is starting to mold or fold or unveil itself in direct proportion to who you are. So you say, well, you know, a year later, they hadn't approved my budget. You know, a year later, they just didn't give me good people. So let's talk to the leader to talk about this whole term of building teams and being responsible to build people. Because Jesus said, come follow me and I will make you. Right? In other words, who they were was really, it didn't matter. If you come follow me, you're going to be made. Talk to us.
Listen, you have to work on yourself first. Lead yourself well. Mind, body, spirit. It starts with you. We can't skirt around that. We have to look in the mirror and say, what type of person am I? What type of leader am I? Would I want to follow me? No, seriously.
That's a great question.
And really sit down with that. Would I want to follow me? And Coach Ricardo, I've had to do that. And there's some things that I saw in myself that I said, you know what, Katherine, you need to change.
Wow.
Like, I'll just be honest. There's some things that you need to change. I'm a very direct person, very like, let's get it done now. Like, why put off what we could do for tomorrow, for what we could do for today? But then I realized that some people, they don't work like that. And you cannot treat people or force them to do things that are out of their way and they're not. But how can you get to a level where you build rapport, where you build understanding, where you still get what you need to get done, but it may not be the way that you may have done it. And that's fine, because we don't want people to be mini us. We want people to live and lead their lives while achieving the objectives. So if I sit there and say, do A, B, C, D, then that's the meaning. That's micromanaging. Somebody, they might want to do B, D, C, A. Right?
At the end of the day, they got it all done.
They got it all done. It was 4 objectives, 4 letters. They got it done. They just did it a different way than we would have done it. And that's fine. So we have to realize that people are different, and you ask, what can the leaders do? Pour into yourself. So mine, that's your perspective. That's your thoughts. Don't assume. As leaders, sometimes I feel like we can assume on certain situations. Ask questions. That's something I had to learn. Question asking. Because a lot of times, although we think we know, when we ask questions, new facts come out and we realize that it may not have been the way that we thought it was. So work on that mind, work on that perspective, and really ensure that you're thinking positively. Always think the best. Like every morning, I say, no matter what the situation is that I may have had with an individual, I want to approach them with a fresh and new perspective. right? That's what we must do with the people we lead. Because if we come with old baggage, it doesn't help you as the leader or the team body, right? So a lot of us exercise before this call. I only could have done a 15-minute quick workout before I showered and got on here, but I did some movement. I needed something to help, jumpstart me and be ready for this conversation. And so body, taking care of yourself, the things that you're eating, very important because it impacts us. I'm usually a high energy person anyway, but the working out gives me a little extra, and so very important. Even if it's 15 minutes like me this morning, that's okay. You're doing some kind of movement. It don't got to be an hour in the gym. I did something right here at home. And if anything the pandemic showed us is, listen, the gyms were closed, right? So we can do things even in the comfort of our homes. And then spirit, what are the things that you're putting in your spirit, man? If you're a believer, are you reading the word of God? Are you reading positive books that can uplift you? All of this impacts the way that you lead as well as how you impact your team.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, Katherine Beneby joining us this morning. The woman is amazing. If you have not booked her to come speak to your company, your school, your team, you're missing out. And here's the deal. We have persons like this accessible. You're getting this content right now free of charge. Grab a hold of what we're saying and tell yourself, you know what? I need to start practicing and engaging at a higher level. And I like what Katherine is saying. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply. Don't just be impressed by what is being said. Be transformed by what is being said. Now, Ms. Katherine, I know that there are people out there that are viewing our conversation this morning, and they're going into work and they're part of a team, but they don't bring to the table what needs to be brought because they're looking at everybody else not delivering. And so there's this mixed management of performance because I don't like what everybody else around me is doing. How important is it for personal responsibility as a player on a team for those who are on teams to ensure that, you know what, if I'm going to be on a team, if I'm going to agree to being on the team, if I know the vision of why this team exists, I committed to being here, I want to deliver. How important is it for one to make a commitment to show up like how I know you, when you show up, you want to show up as Katherine Beneby because there's a standard there that you want no matter what. When Katherine Beneby shows up, I'm going to deliver. I prefer not to accept.
Correct.
If I know I'm not going to be able to deliver as Katherine Beneby will deliver. Talk to those young people who have showed up, but they're not delivering.
Focus on what you can control. I think a lot of times we get caught up in the politics and what this one's saying and what this one doing. No, you were engaged or you consented to serve in a particular way. Do what you can do. If you were there to deal with the accounting, do that to the best of your ability. If you were there to manage documents or files, do that to the best of your ability. If you're there to deal with the marketing, do that to the best of your ability. Do what you committed to do. We always say to over deliver in whatever it is that you're doing, but don't get caught up in the external things that are not within your reach. It will wear you down. It will discourage you. It will really cause you to want to give up. But if you continue to focus on the things that you have control of, you will continue to find some fulfillment in what it is. But don't get bogged down in the things that you can't control, because that's what I'm hearing. People get discouraged because let's say you had somebody who was working and then somebody who wasn't working gets promoted. These are the type of things that happen in work environments and in other dynamics as well. But again, focus on what you can control. Do whatever your responsibility is or what you consented to the best of your ability. And trust me, you will see doors continue to open, because sometimes you think people aren't watching or people aren't seeing. But listen, they are. And so do what you can do, focus on what you can control, and leave the rest to God, like I like to say.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're joined with Katherine Beneby this morning. If you're watching this on Facebook, please share. Give me a thumbs up. If you're on YouTube, subscribe to our channel. Listen, every day we're trying to provide practical information that can help people live life at a higher level. Your goal is to get better.
Yes.
As long as there's life in this body, you got to tell yourself, you know what? I'm not going to just merely exist. Why just merely exist? You know, every day in every way, I'm getting better. Oh man, let me tell you something. The rest of my life is going to be the best of my life because I'm committed to getting better. Now, Katherine, I'm a strong believer here on Effective Living. I talk about faith, family, finance, fitness, and fun as the pillars of this particular platform and the service we provide. I'm a strong believer in community. There are a lot of people who have not been intentional about building a community around them that makes for their tribe, their alone. You know, I teach, you know, why try to build a company alone when there are other people who have skill set to bring about a level of service to help you build a company that is great. And you know that in building teams and building leaders. Well, in addition, there are some incredible people in the world. And you could build a tribe by joining a Toastmasters, joining a Rotary Club, joining a fitness group, joining a reading program. But at the end of the day, we should not do life alone. We started there early on. Let's go back there for those that are watching who fail to realize this journey should not be done alone again. You started that talk off with us at the opening. Highlight the focus of that again for us, please.
Yes, I would say start today. Coach Ricardo just gave those examples of various civic organizations. They are international, local. Find a cause that you're passionate about. You know, that can be an objective to say, I'm going to observe within the next month an organization, a group, or individual. You may just want to start with one individual that I want to connect with on my journey to come out of my comfort zone. Because some people may not be able to dive straight into a group, but they may say, let me start with one or two people, and then I add 3 or 4, and it just continues to grow. So however you choose to navigate it, start. Just point blank, start. Make that choice that, hey, I'm stronger when I diversify. I'm stronger when I have different perspectives. I'm stronger when I'm with people who have gone further than me, who see things in the world completely different than I do. We don't need to shy away from people that are different from us, you know.
Right.
They help us to see it another way. We don't necessarily have to agree.
Right.
But it's good to know other perspectives and ways that people process things. And so start today, whether it's with 1 or 2 people, or you might dive straight in and say, hey, I'm going to join a group or organization. But it's the power of your start and then continuing with it, because you start today and then tomorrow it was something of the past, but you start and you remain consistent with it, and you will reap the benefits of having a tribe and community, because it truly makes a difference in your life.
Wow. She said, we don't have to agree. I think it's such a bigger person to know and to learn how to accept, to sit in a room where everybody is not believing or liking or doing or believe. They're just not where you are, but you still know how to show up in that space and connect. So good. Listen, you're such a phenomenal communicator. Do you have any Toastmasters in your background? Where did you pick up the gift of gab and the ability to communicate so strongly over the years?
I would say my family, both the Ferguson and Beneby side, you know, love to speak, talk, and engage. And then church. Church is where it started doing those Christmas programs and, you know, saying those recitations. And I believe it all planted seeds as I went on to do my degree in mass communications, and then, of course, getting the certification with John Maxwell. And so practicing making perfect over the years. And so I just thank God, because it's a part of my gift and call.
Yes, and you do an exceptional job at it. Let me ask you this. Common life's lesson that you've grabbed a hold of. Can you share some of those with us? I mean, you've been living and learning, and it is bringing you to who you are today, and we celebrate you for showing up in such a strong and a great way today. But you've obviously learned some life's lessons when it comes to team, when it comes to people, when it comes to moving forward. Can you share a few of your life's lessons with some of our viewers, please?
Yeah, I think particularly as it pertains to teams and leadership, you know, really learning humility as a leader. and knowing that sometimes being the leader doesn't always mean that you have to always be at the forefront. Really, your strength as a leader is when you can see other people rising up and really coming into their potential. And so that was one of the things I learned and realized that people will always know who the leader is, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Through the people that they bring up. You
Yeah.
shouldn't have to toot your own horn that, oh, I'm the leader, look at me, and all of that. No, let the people speak for you.
Yeah.
And that's something that I think is so important in leadership. Work on the people. Leadership is all about taking people somewhere. You work on them. You love them. You be sincere. You be genuine. You help them see things that they never even thought they could see.
Yeah.
And you will see the returns. And that's something I'm learning, and that's something I'm even in the process of, and seeing the difference it can make when you truly care about the people that you are leading. So very important to care, give concern, be understanding. All of these are key things that I've learned as a leader, leading teams. Very important. And then another thing in leadership, I would say, is to be consistent with whatever goal, whatever dream. Even people on the team, they're looking for you to be consistent as a leader. So if you say that this is the goal for 3 months, you don't come and then just switch it up, a month, 2 months, and you haven't even made inroads in getting that goal accomplished.
Yeah.
So your people are looking for stability. They're looking for groundedness in whatever it is that you're doing. So you have to be able to provide that for your people. It can't just be all over the place, because while some people can shift easily, you're going to have some people on your team that, they don't shift as quick. And so you're going to have to realize that you have different dynamics and different people, and you're going to have to be able to navigate the changes with the people that you are leading. And so consistency is key. And also, like I said earlier, being understanding, caring, having concern, and really loving people. Because this is all about people, Coach Ricardo. All about people. We cannot be so caught up in the work that we don't take the time to care and love the people.
Wow.
Very important.
Wow. Care for the people, ladies and gentlemen. Now, here's the deal. If you don't care for people, after a while, you will find yourself by yourself.
True.
You will find yourself by yourself. There are a lot of people, when they sense usury, when they find that you're only about yourself and that you don't care about anybody else, they will distance themselves from you, even though you have come to accept that you need people. If you're using them and not connecting with them from a caring standpoint, you're going to be limited in what you're going to be able to get from people. Katherine, listen, this morning, we're helping people tap into this whole understanding of team building, leadership. You've heard it before. I bet you've said it probably on numerous occasions. Readers are leaders, or leaders are readers. Be it as it may, making the commitment to be a lifelong learner. You're clearly a person who has embraced that. How important is it for our viewing audience?
Listen, we have to continuously grow, develop ourselves. It could be through a book. You see, the Effective Living book is available at ricardomiller.com. Grab that. That's your first step. If you want to move forward and you say, hey, I want to change my life, start with Coach Ricardo's book as it pertains to effective living, right? Read books like this. Watch positive videos. Be around positive individuals. Invest in yourself. It doesn't have to be formal learning to say, oh, I'm getting a bachelor's or a master's or a doctorate. While those are great achievements, it can be small little courses or trainings that you're a part of where you're upgrading yourself. And so please take advantage of these resources, because it does help you to grow and get better. Little steps. I always say little steps lead to big steps and big victories. But we despise those little steps, and then you don't never get to the big victory. But the little changes help us to get to where we want to get.
So true, so true. Looking back over your life, 20 years ago, what advice would you give Katherine Beneby, should you be able, had the moment to advise her, knowing what you know now? What would you say to Katherine Beneby?
Wow, that's a good question. Now, listen, you know what 20 years ago was for me? Listen, I even put myself in that position. But truly, just saying a few years back, I would say, really don't be so hard on yourself.
Yeah.
You know, don't be so hard on yourself and live life. And that's something I'm learning right now. I feel like it was really a lot of let's get it done kind of thing. And I'm realizing, look here, work will always be here. Like, you better take your minute to have a trip or go to a new restaurant or have an adventure, because it can't just be work and no play. And so that's something I had to learn. Take care of yourself, because you take care of everybody, and you don't take care of yourself, you ain't gonna look good, you ain't gonna feel good. Right? So they are some of the lessons that I've learned within the last, I would say 10 years. 20 years is like way too young. But yes, take care of yourself. Celebrate those wins, and don't beat up on yourself. If you make a mistake, you ain't the first one.
Yes.
Not the first one.
Yes.
Pick up yourself, keep moving forward.
Amazing. It's so good. So good. Last question. What does effective living look like to you?
Embracing each day to make an impact. Each day, each day, each day, what can I do to make a difference in the life of another person? That's what effective living looks like for me.
Wow. Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, she's here live. We're enjoying this incredible conversation. Katherine Beneby delivering it only as she can. I love how you just own your moment and embrace your time. And I've always been a fan, always been a friend, and always respected what you've been doing and showing up with your platform, your message, and you just being who you are. And so I love your family too. Good people. Good people. We go way back. I don't know if you know, in Ministry of Youth days, both Benebys, I had favored to have the opportunity to work with really well.
Awesome.
And so it's been a blessing. Let me ask you this. How can people contact you if they're wanting to connect with you? You have services that you do offer. Tell our viewing audience a little bit about the services you offer and how people can connect with you.
Yes, so I'm on Facebook as Katherine Beneby. So you can follow me just as you see my name on the screen, Katherine Beneby. On Instagram, K Beneby. I also have a website, www.kb2, that's the Roman numeral, communication.com. So www.kb2communication.com, and all of my services are listed there. I'm usually engaged for speaking, training, and coaching. I train on leadership. I train on influence. A lot of people have been engaging me for public speaking and communication and just getting confident in themselves to be able to do things like what we're doing right now, being able to share impromptu or formally. And so all about helping people to get to the next level. Whatever your needs are in that way, you can just fill out a quick form on the website, and myself or a team member will be in touch.
Let me ask you this question, last question. I know I said that before. I'm like Baptist, okay? just keep, this is the end from the end from the end. But let me ask you this. You've made the investment to become the woman you are today. How important is it to pay the price? And I'm talking the little price. You've clearly bought the book. You went through certification programs. You went off to school. You went to university. You've continued to pay the price to become the person that you are today. There are people who have the ability to become phenomenal in their own right, but their unwillingness to pay the price is holding them back. How important is it to pay the price? Because you clearly have been paying the price.
Listen, we put our money where our mouths are, right? That's when we think about anything else, and it's the clothes, the hair, the shoes, anything that we fancy, we put our money where it is. So that's the same perspective we have to have for ourselves. When it comes to us, we say, oh, it's not important as it pertains to personal or professional development. But what we fail to realize is you're making a timeless investment on yourself, where I got the certification 5 years ago. And I can tell you within the last 2 years, I've truly seen the return. So what if I had given up those 3 years prior to the 2 years thereafter? I wouldn't be where I am now. And so it's very important. Sometimes you make an investment and you don't see it immediately, but you got to put in the work. You got to put in the work. So you make the investment, you remain consistent, and you will see the returns. I'm saying that because it's my life.
Come on.
Make the investment. It may not be quick and easy. I'm not going to sell you a dream. You're going to have to work. You're going to have to take those principles that Coach Ricardo or myself would share and actually act on them for a period of time to be able to see the return. But it starts with you making that investment. So Do it today.
Do it today. Ladies and gentlemen, Katherine Beneby joined us this morning, blessed us. I'm telling you guys, she is amazing. Please go ahead and follow her online and connect with her. There's a lot of opening happening across the globe when it comes to businesses and schools and churches and civic organizations. Looking for speakers, trainers, connect with Katherine Beneby today. She is amazing, and she's going to deliver just as she did. She prepares well. She shows up strong, and she always drops the mic when it's all done. Come on, because that's who she is. She shows up strong. So keep doing what you're doing, lady. We love and appreciate you here on Effective Living. Hey, guys, don't forget, we have our upcoming event, fast approaching, Fitness in the Park, Saturday, May 29th here in Arlington, Texas. If you haven't registered, listen, register. I'm doing a photo shoot out there with everybody. We're going to take pictures together, and we're going to blast it out to the world to see how effective living we do it together. Fun, fitness, family, we can join each other together during our Memorial Day Fitness in the Park event. In addition, guys, don't forget, you can go to my website and get the shirt I'm creating a life I don't need to take a vacation from. And I heard someone said this week, they had to pull the book back. And then I saw in the chat that others are saying they're still reading the book. They're going back over the book. It's not a book. It's a tool, ladies and gentlemen. Get your copy today. I promise you, it will change your life if you decide to apply the information within it. Katherine, once again, thank you for joining me on this beautiful Tuesday morning. Go forward and crush it. I'm looking forward to being back in the Bahamas soon. I haven't done a video on the beach in more than a year.
Oh, boy.
I haven't had conch in more than a year. I found some snappers, though.
Okay.
I found some snappers here, red snappers.
Okay.
So my mama said they might have raised that thing in a pond.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
That may not be the real deal. But thank you again, Katherine.
Thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure. Anytime you send me an invitation, I will make myself available to be a part of this. Thank you.
You're awesome. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.